Hey learners, welcome to Read, Write, Roar. We're exploring the things Michigan made, makes, and sells. Commerce. We'll also learn about how to use different sources when reading, to dig deeper, and about life as a farmer in Michigan by writing a narrative. Let's go read, write, roar.
This program is made possible in part by the state of Michigan and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome everyone. Rosie the Riveter here. Just teasing, it's just me. I'm Mrs. DeFall dressed up like Rosie the Riveter, who wasn't actually a real person. She was an idea on a poster that motivated real women during World War II to join manufacturing teams. Today, we are going to use different sources to learn about Rosie the Riveter's impact on Michigan's manufacturing. What do you notice about this poster? For me, I pretend I can hear Rosie the Riveter shout, "We can do it!" This image makes me want to help. I feel like I need to learn more about Rosie the Riveter, so I need to read. I am going to use 3 different kinds of text and model or show you how I write short notes about what I am learning as I read. Then, using my notes from all 3 sources, I will model how to write a summary. A summary includes the most important ideas from a text and connects its central ideas in a way that helps me better remember what I read. In this source, the author wrote a sentence that highlights what we already know from looking at the poster. Rosie the Riveter was an iconic poster of a female factory worker flexing her muscle, exhorting other women to join the World War II effort with the declaration that we can do it. As a reader, I want to remember the most important information from this sentence. I am going to list a few of these words: Rosie the Riveter, iconic poster, factory worker, exhorting women to join World War II effort, we can do it. Let's read the second paragraph in this article that talks about Rosie the Riveter in Michigan. In 1940, there were 391,600 employed women in Michigan. By 1943, this number had more than doubled to 799,100, with women constituting nearly 35% of the non-agricultural workforce. Many of those new to the labor force were older and married. What had been the domain of young single and relatively poor females was opened up to increasing numbers of middle-aged, middle-class mothers. As a reader, I need to remember the most important content from this paragraph. Let's list a few of these words or phrases. 1940 had 391,600 workers. 1943 had 799,100 workers. Non-agricultural, older and married, middle-aged, this means you're 40 to 60 years old. Middle class, this means that you're not extremely wealthy, but you have enough money to pay for the things you need. Mothers, Michigan. Speaking of Michigan, Clara Doutley is from Detroit, Michigan, and she was a Rosie the Riveter. This timeline shows us some key moments of her life that I want to add to my notes. Let's read the timeline together first. 1921, Clara Hunter Doutley, born in Detroit, Michigan. 1930s, attended Cass Technical High School. 1939, left Cass Technical High School to work as a riveter building parts for the B-29 bombers at the Briggs manufacturing plant in Detroit. 1947, Clara left the Briggs manufacturing plant and began to work with Detroit Public Schools. Based on the timeline, I jotted the following notes. Clara Hunter Doutley, Detroit, Michigan, left Cass Tech, built part, B-29 bombers, Briggs manufacturing plant. Let's take all of our notes and write a summary together so we don't forget what we learned. I combined my notes into one document. That's a lot of notes. And now I need your help to make my messy notes make sense. We know our notes came from 3 different sources that taught different content. This helps us to organize our summary. Now let's think of a sentence we can write that helps us share these ideas we learned. Let me model this first. Posters with Rosie the Riveter encourage women to work in factories to help with the World War II efforts. Rosie the Riveter is known for saying, "We can do it." Let's read the second sentence together. What do you think of my sentence? So many middle-aged and middle-class women worked in Michigan factories in 1943. Almost 800,000 Rosie the Riveters. Of course, we could write a different sentence, as long as we use our notes and we put the content in our own words. Did you notice I didn't use some of my notes like 1940, 391,600, or older and married? That's okay. Our job as writers is to summarize, not necessarily write every detail, although we do have to be accurate. Speaking of, I think I need to change my sentence a bit. So many middle-aged and middle-class women worked in Michigan factories in 1940. About 799,000 Rosie the Riveters. Now it's your turn. Write a sentence about Claire Hunter Doughtley. Here's my sentence. A Rosie the Riveter in Detroit, Michigan, Claire Hunter Doughtley left Cass Tech High School to work at the Briggs manufacturing plant. She built parts for the B-29 bombers. Like Clara, so many Rosie the Riveters helped the World War II efforts. Writing summaries can be a challenge, especially from different sources. As you read, jot down some short notes and then use your notes to write your summary. And remember what Rosie the Riveter says, we can do it.
I'm Miss AP, here to help restore your energy. Today, we are going to be jumping, but before we do that, let's start with our warm-up. We are going to be running in place by the count of 10. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, everyone. Now that we have warmed up our bodies, we are ready to jump. To get ready to jump, we are going to pretend to stand like a pencil. Watch me. Look at how I stand up straight like a pencil. I pull my torso up. I'm standing tall. Arms are at my sides. Feet are together. This is our ready position. From our ready position, look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to bend my knees, jump with 2 feet at the same time. I'm going to try it 2 more times. Bend at the knees, jump, 2 feet at the same time. 1 more time, jump, same time. Now we're gonna try it together. Let's try jumping 20 times. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Give yourselves a big clap, clap. Wow, nice job. Let's start our cool down. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Great job.
Hi, I'm naturalist Paul Roos, and we are heading outdoors to discover Michigan's nature and that reading and writing is everywhere. As a naturalist, I'm reading and writing about things I see in nature all the time. Today, we are bird watching and recording our observations using a technique called nature journaling. Nature journaling is done by naturalists and scientists who watch and track changes in the natural world over time. By writing, drawing, or photographing things we see in nature, we not only capture information, but we can also see how this information changes over time. Birds are everywhere, on every continent. And you can see birds in the country, in the city, at a playground, in your school, or even in your backyard. So come bird watching with me and activate your naturalist skills with some nature journaling. Some people might think you need a fancy notebook to journal, but you can also just use a piece of scrap paper like me. So grab something to write with and some paper and let's get started. First, let's take a look around. What do you notice? Notice I'm attracting birds by providing food and water. Each year I record the first day I see a robin. This year it was March 5th. It's a lot like Michiganders. It migrates or moves to Florida in the winter and back here in the spring. Birdwatchers use 5 key descriptors to help them identify birds: size, shape, song, color, and habitat. We can practice nature journaling with your chart using the bird descriptors of the state bird of Michigan, the robin. Looking at the robin's size, is it a small, medium, or large bird? The robin is a medium-sized bird, whereas a black-capped chickadee is a small bird and a great blue heron is considered a large bird. What shapes or features do you see? Does it have noticeable shapes in its beak or a crest on its head? The robin has a round head. Let's listen. Do you hear a particular sound or rhythm? What colors do you notice? This feature really defines the robin because it has a reddish-orange breast, blackish-brown body, and a yellow bill or beak. Where is the bird found? Robins are found in grassy areas, often in a backyard or a park hunting for worms. How about a quick review of what we've written in our nature journal? Now let's practice observing more birds. Take a moment and journal. You can write down how many birds you see, or even focus only on one kind of bird. Over a 6-day period, I saw 22 kinds of birds and 6 robins. Did you see a black and white bird that had a little pointy tail? Did you see a small bird that was all brown? How can we figure out what kind of bird it is or its name? Naturalists use field guides to identify things in nature. Field guides are books you can find at your local library or sometimes even online. Today we had a bird's eye view of nature journaling. When you journal, not only can you record your observations, but you can also use this space to express yourself creatively through writing, drawing, or photography. Remember, the sky's the limit when it comes to writing and journaling.
Did you know there are over 10 million acres of farmland in Michigan? Did you know there are over 1,000 dairy farms and 430,000 cows? That's a lot of cows! But the life of a farmer is a lot more than numbers. It's about people who dedicate their lives to developing a relationship with the land they live on. Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Cass, and today we're going to explore the lives of Michigan's organic farmers by experiencing things from their point of view. I want us to think about that concept a bit more. It's valuable to look at the world from different positions because our eyes get open to different ideas. When reading books, we call this an opportunity to have a window into a life or culture, rather than always seeing a mirror of our own perspective. For example, I'm a 57-year-old high school English teacher in the Midwest. I don't really understand why people walk around with one earbud in their ears. In fact, I call earbuds fish hooks and imagine my students are big, fat rainbow trout who are being reeled in by some all-seeing monster-sized fishermen. But what if I tried to look at that issue through the eyes of a teenage boy and tried to imagine why it actually is that he walks around with one earbud in his head at all times? Maybe he's going through a difficult experience and just needs to listen to some music to get in a better mood. Maybe he's on his way to a big basketball game and he's trying to psych himself up. By putting myself in his shoes, or more precisely his ears, maybe I would come to understand his point of view better and I wouldn't be so opinionated. Let's try that with Michigan farmers. Let's try to write a first-person narrative from the point of view of a farmer. But we won't give it a strict form. We'll speak in that farmer's voice and just say our thoughts aloud. How will we know what an organic farmer might be thinking? Well, we have to find out. As I research, I'll try to find answers to some of the questions I have about the lives of organic farmers. Like, what are some of the challenges they face? What are some of the things they're really proud of? What are their favorite parts of daily life? What do they wish they could change about their lifestyle? These are all good questions to ask when you're learning about another person's point of view and trying to speak in their voice. Now, let's talk about some elements of first-person narratives. First, we want the speaker to express a specific idea. They're not just talking for no reason. Second, we want to have an interesting opening, like some way of grabbing a reader's attention at the beginning, as if they were the kind of fat rainbow trout I was talking about earlier. We want to hook them and get them on the line. Finally, we want to finish our narrative with parting words that close out the piece with emphasis. So I've done some research about contemporary organic farms. These are specialized farms that try to avoid using chemicals when growing crops. I will now attempt to speak from the point of view of an organic farmer in Michigan in 2024. If you want to be a farmer like me, you have to love dirt. I get dirt everywhere, on my clothes, in my hair, and most of all, on my hands. I love the feel of my hands sunk into earth. I believe that dirt is magic, that if I treat it right, I can grow something beautiful, something that will feed people and make them grow too. My favorite thing to grow is garlic. Not because I think it'll keep vampires away, though that's definitely a plus, but because I love how it makes food taste, how you can mix it into soup or an omelet, sprinkle it onto steak or fish, or mix it into pasta. Trust me, garlic will do your taste buds right. It's healthy too, good for your heart. Here's what I mean about dirt. Garlic likes loose, well-drained soil. Nothing too muddy or too hard-packed. You have to find the right mix, like a DJ at a dance. Play the wrong song, you'll clear the floor. Play the right song, everyone gets hyped. Same with dirt. Use the right soil, the garlic gets hyped. Plant it in the fall, right around Halloween, just in time to scare the vampires. Place the cloves about 3 inches deep, the pointy end up, about 6 inches apart. Each individual clove will grow its own garlic head. The bigger the clove, the bigger the head. The cloves will develop deep roots during the winter and will start to sprout in April or May, and will even pop up if there's still snow on the ground. Garlic is tough. Water the leaves once a week through late June. You should be able to harvest in July. To dig it out, I'm gonna have to get my hands dirty. Scoop carefully under the head to break its roots and lift it from the garden, but keep it out of direct sunlight. I can eat it right away raw, or chop it up and put it into a salad, or throw it into a stir fry. Yum. I don't need chemicals. I don't need pesticides. I just gotta love dirt. Okay, now it's your turn. Do some research about organic farmers or another kind of farmer you're interested in, and learn more about their experiences. Then, write a first-person narrative from their point of view. Aim for at least half a page. Try to really imagine a farmer's experience and speak in that person's voice. Be a farmer. Have fun. Get your brain dirty. Love the dirt.
Hello, my name is Miss Audra, and today we're going to create a symphony together. The soundscape of a symphony. Think of violins and flutes and cellos and drums, timpanis and bells and harps and pianos. Any kind of instrument you can think of that might be in a symphony. And you can even just make your own sound and think about what movement you're going to make. And while we do that, let's take our cleansing breath together. Here we go. And hold. And breathe out in any way you can make the wind chimes. And breathe in. And hold. And you can breathe out nice and gentle like that, blowing the flute. So get ready. Think of an instrument. Hold it in your heart and get ready and think about a movement you're going to make, with your instrument today. All right. So on the count of 3, we're going to do it together. Get ready. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to make my sound. All right. On the count of 3, we're going to pause. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Think of all the beautiful sounds. Think about the beautiful soundscape that we created with all these symphonic instruments and making them from our own bodies and using our movements together. So let's take one last breath as we say goodbye. Here we go. See you next time.
Ooh, this is a cool shot. What if I zoom in? Oh, well, hello, scholars. I'm Media Literacy Maddie, and today I'm using this piece of paper to create a frame to show what I would see through a camera. Video cameras can tell digital stories with the framing the camera operator uses, and that's what we're going to be talking about today on Read, Write, Roar. Let's go find Miss Kara. Hi everyone, I'm Miss Kara. I've been learning about why high-quality soil is necessary to grow fresh fruits and vegetables by watching this video from Destination Michigan. When you watch shows on a screen, it's helpful to understand film language, which is different from language written with words. Film language is told through different camera shots and angles. If you know this language, you'll understand why media creators make certain production decisions about the media they produce. Let's see how this video was created. This is an establishing shot at Willow Run Acres. This shot tells us the location or setting. I have an idea. Let's record some shots of Maddie in the garden. This shot is an establishing shot of Maddie. It sets the scene and tells us she is in her garden. Now it's your turn to practice an establishing shot. Grab some paper and a pencil. Fold your paper in thirds like this. In this column, draw an establishing shot or a shot that sets a scene of a house and some trees. Great job, everyone. This next shot is a medium shot. This is used during an interview. In this medium shot, you can see the top of Mr. Collins' head down to his chest. Do you also notice the writing or title here? This is called a lower third, and it's used to identify who the person is and their relationship to the topic of the video. This is a medium shot of Maddie. Do you notice that it's closer than the establishing shot of the garden setting we saw earlier? We can see a lot more detail. Do you notice there's a lower third to identify who she is and what she's doing? Now take your paper and pencil and draw a medium shot. It's okay if you draw a stick figure like I did. The last shot type is a close-up. This framing is important when you want to show detail of an object or emotion on a person's face. Here's a close-up from the video we've been watching. This is a close-up of Maddie. I wonder what she's found that's so interesting. And now get your paper and pencil one last time. Draw a close-up of a plant growing near the soil. We've learned so much about different camera distances and the use of titles today. Here's one final activity for you to try. Can you identify the film language that matches what is shown in each image? If you guessed close-up, medium shot, establishing shot, and lower third, you are right. Today we learned about several shots used in film language to tell stories: an establishing shot, medium shot, and close-up. We also learned about how a lower third, which is writing on a screen, is used to identify someone in an interview. Film language is spoken with cameras to convey a message. If you ever get a chance to speak film language from behind a camera, what would you say to make your message clear?
Thank you for watching. For more episodes, videos, lessons, activity guides, and more, be sure to visit us at our website. And don't forget, read, write, roar!
This program is made possible in part by the state of Michigan and by viewers like you. Thank you.